So today I'm going to talk about the biggest problem that we all face, and that is making sure that our users can find our content. You can write the best content ever, solve all of your users' problems, but if they can't find your content, none of it matters. So we're going to be talking about how you can use. Let's really talk quickly about what content pillars are. So basically, content pillars are just ways to organize your information, better ways to create your content in a way that's easy for your audience to find, easy for search engines to find. And it also helps you keep strategic alignment around what content you're creating. So why you would want to use content pillars is it makes it easier for your audiences to lead your audiences through your content. When a user comes to your site, they're expecting to see certain things. They have an expectation about your brand, about what problems you're going to solve for them, and what questions you're going to answer. Having your content well organized within your site, spreading out from these pillar pages, makes it easy for them to find the next question they're asking or find the solution to the next problem they have. It also makes it easier for search engines to find your content and to spider your content. So search engines and users tend to like flatter websites. They like websites that don't have a lot of depth to them. Once you start diving 3 or 4 or 5 layers deep into a website, it's very easy to get lost in the content and not know how you got to those pages. So the flatter you can keep your content, the better, and pillar pages really help with that. It makes it easier for you to figure out what content you're creating next because you're staying focused around these particular strategic areas. Once you start creating content that doesn't relate to your strategic priorities or your goals, you're just wasting your time and you're confusing your audience. And this doesn't work just on websites. Pillar pages can help inspire and teach algorithms throughout the content landscape. So pushing out and promoting your pillar pages and your pillar content on social will train the social algorithms to realize that this is the kind of content that you're creating, this is the kind of content that you're delivering. And they're going to start feeding that content to the audiences who are interested in that. There are a lot of companies out there that are doing content pillars, pillar pages very well. If you want to look at some examples of some, HubSpot does a great job of using content pillars. They have a whole pillar page around building content pillars. Moz is a SEO tool. You would think that most of these SEO tools all use pillar pages, and they do. Brafton is a global content marketing agency. They create fantastic pillar pages. Pillar pages tend to be longer form content. They tend to be 3,000 words or more, whereas most of your blog posts are going to be in the 1,000 to 2,000 word range. Brafton has a great selection of pillar pages if you want to go look at those. Most of these companies say that best practices are you should have somewhere between 3 to 7 pillar pages for this primary content that you're delivering. Because if you have more than that, it can start to confuse your audiences. So in the higher ed space, Harvard is actually taking a different tact with that. And they're creating new pillar pages every month or so, and they're using those as homepage takeovers. And they're creating these pillar pages around socially important content where they have expertise, they have curriculum around these particular areas. And it's actually working out very well for them from a search perspective. So we're going to talk about discoverability, because that's what it's all about. When Brafton looked at how their content pages were performing, their pillar pages, while they had many fewer of them, had way more backlinks, way more conversions, and way more traffic than their standard blog posts. HubSpot noticed that when they started creating these pillar pages, it created fantastic opportunities for internal linking. And they noticed that the more internal links they created, the higher they were ranked in the SERPs. So there was a direct correlation between those up to a point. So it all comes back to discoverability. It all comes back to helping your users find your content and helping search engines find your content. The thing about discoverability is it's connected directly to trust. And that's the thing with our content as well. When a user comes to your site and they're expecting to find a particular content area or particular topic and they don't find it, they start to wonder if you're the right solution for them. Do you really know what you're talking about? You don't even know how to organize your content. And that's something that Pillar Pages can really help with. If you look at the typical information architecture on a website, you see something that usually looks like this. You have your main domain, then you have a lot of subfolders. Inside that, you have sporadic content. So at the University of Rochester, this is the way our site has been organized for years. We have our main domain. We have our news center is one of the subfolders that we use. And then inside our news center, we have all sorts of stories that are categorized about research or students or our medical information. But then we've got our whole medical center. And they have a news center. And they have stories about research and medical students. And then we've got our music school. And they have a news center. And they have stories about music research and music students. And none of that content is connected. It makes it difficult for students who are interested in research, the broad category of research, to figure out what we really do, what areas we cover, how expansive we are. So if you look at the way Pillar Pages are set up, that can provide the mechanism that you need to start connecting this content all across the different areas of your website. So now, from your Pillar Page, you can create links to any area of your website. So you can combine all of that information, which makes it easier for your users, and it makes it easier for your search engines. Well, let's think about search for a minute, because we know it makes it easier for your users to find your content. Why does it matter so much to search? Google won't tell us what their search algorithm is. But what they do share with us are these Search Quality Evaluator Guidelines. This is a document that they keep posted online. It's a 167-page document, 176-page document. And they actually pay people to go out and do searches and then rank those searches based on a variety of different criteria that they have laid out in this document. So there's one criteria that's mentioned 126 times in this document, and that is the EAT criteria. So that is experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trust. So does this content provider have the real-world experience to be giving us information about this content? Do they have the expertise? Do they have the credentials to give us information about this topic? Are they authorities? Is this the go-to source for information about this topic? And it's those three criteria that come together to form this overall trust rating. And that is what these quality evaluators are looking at